A growing political standoff has emerged after a key U.S. senator announced he would not support funding for the Department of Homeland Security (DHS), as Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agents and other federal law enforcement officials began operating more visibly inside his state, intensifying an already heated national debate over immigration enforcement, federal authority, and the limits of executive power. The senator, a senior figure whose vote carries significant weight in budget negotiations, framed his opposition as a matter of principle rather than partisanship, arguing that DHS has expanded enforcement actions without sufficient transparency, coordination with state officials, or accountability to Congress. According to his office, recent ICE activity, including arrests, workplace checks, and cooperation with other federal agencies, has caused alarm among local communities and placed state resources under strain, all while bypassing the kind of oversight lawmakers expect when allocating billions of taxpayer dollars. The senator's refusal to back DHS funding comes at a critical moment, as Congress faces looming deadlines to approve federal spending and avert potential shutdowns, making his stance a potential leverage point in broader negotiations over immigration policy. Supporters of the senator's position say the move sends a clear message that enforcement-first strategies, especially those perceived as aggressive or disruptive, should not proceed without meaningful legislative consent or safeguards for civil liberties. They argue that immigration enforcement should prioritize serious criminal threats rather than broad sweeps that can ensnare longtime residents, mixed-status families, or workers contributing to local economies. Critics, however, accuse the senator of undermining national security and politicizing DHS funding at a time when border pressures, transnational crime, and humanitarian challenges demand consistent federal action. They contend that ICE and other federal agents are operating within their legal authority and that withholding funds could weaken the government's ability to enforce immigration laws passed by Congress itself. DHS officials, for their part, have defended the operations, stating that agents are targeting individuals with criminal records or outstanding removal orders and that cooperation with state and local authorities remains a priority where permitted by law. Still, the optics of federal agents entering communities without visible state endorsement have fueled tensions, particularly in states where leaders favor a more restrained or humanitarian approach to immigration. Local officials and advocacy groups report heightened fear among immigrant populations, with some residents avoiding schools, hospitals, or public services due to concerns about enforcement actions, raising public health and safety questions that extend beyond immigration alone. The funding dispute also highlights a broader struggle over the balance of power between Congress and the executive branch, as lawmakers increasingly use appropriations as a tool to influence agency behavior. By tying DHS funding to demands for clearer guidelines, reporting requirements, or limits on certain enforcement tactics, the senator is effectively forcing a conversation about how immigration laws are implemented on the ground. Analysts note that such confrontations are likely to become more common as immigration remains one of the most polarizing issues in American politics, intersecting with questions of federalism, human rights, labor markets, and electoral strategy. With neither side showing immediate signs of backing down, the standoff could have far-reaching consequences, from delayed budgets and policy concessions to legal challenges and shifts in enforcement priorities. Ultimately, the clash underscores how immigration policy in the United States is shaped not only by laws on the books but also by funding decisions, political pressure, and the evolving relationship between states and the federal government, leaving communities caught in the middle as leaders argue over who should decide how, when, and where the nation's immigration laws are enforced.